Welcome to Weight Loss for Women Over 40. Today we're talking about what your cravings are really telling you. I am your host, Nikki T, and I am so thrilled that you are here. Welcome back to the podcast. If you're new, welcome to my corner of the internet where you think you're going to get food and exercise stuff, but no, no, no. We talk about mindset. We talk about the step before you do all the food and the exercise. And even with the food, like no more dieters mentality, okay? Anyway, welcome. I am Nikki T, and I've been in this business for over 24 years. Um, I cringe every time not cringe, but it's been a long time. It's all good. Before we dive into today's topic, again, what your cravings are really telling you, because we are diving into a brand new series called Craving the Truth. So the next couple episodes are going to be talking about cravings. And before we dive into the topic today, I wanted to invite you over to Weight Loss for Women Over 40 to grab your copy of Stop Over Starting and Stop Starting Over. I don't know what it is with this title. Every time I say it, I mess it up. Stop Starting Over. It's your reset. It's an 80-page juicy free ebook that you can go grab at Weight Loss for Women Over 40.net/reset. And it's really your first step to feeling more deeply connected to your body. And again, it's an 80-page juicy guide that you're going to understand. I'm going to teach you some mindset shifts that are going to help you work with your body and not against it. So if you want to go grab that, again, it's absolutely free. You can go to Weight Loss for Women Over 40 at the end.net/reset. All right, so let's dive into the topic. Again, we're talking about what your cravings are really telling you. And honestly, I love the topic of cravings because I did a whole course on it, Crush Your Cravings. I even have the Ultimate Crush Your Cravings course, which I absolutely love. It has audio rewires that you can listen to in those moments where you are like about to eat or you've already overeaten the craving and things like that. But to be honest with you, I had such massive cravings earlier on in my life. Cream-filled powdered donuts, they were my thing. They were my kryptonite for sure. And it's so freeing when the food does not have a hold of you anymore. So the series Craving the Truth, which is what we're talking about on this podcast, is going to help open your eyes to a new way of looking about cravings. Because one of the most annoying things I find is with dieters mentality is that, cravings, it's like, okay, go find some knitting and do that for 5 hours until the craving stops, or go for a walk. Like you're habit swapping. And it doesn't work long term, right? If you're out on vacation and you see, in my case, cream-filled powdered donuts that you must have, you're not going to whip out some knitting. Not that I'm a knitter, but like you're not going to go for a walk. You're not going to do these things where you may not have the option to do them. So let's talk about what your cravings are really telling you. And again, I feel like this series in particular is going to be very illuminating for you and eye-opening. And I really do think it's probably one of the most important series that I'm doing this year, because women spend years trying to silence their cravings. And the thing is you never really understand them. You just kind of want to shove them under the rug and hope they'll go away. So you build shame around your cravings. And if you're in dieter's mentality, you will create fear around those cravings. And that's when you fear if you eat whatever it is, you're going to blow up into a pufferfish or you're not going to be able to stop eating it, things like that. And then you hold on so tightly and you try to control your cravings, which, by the way, will backfire on you big time. The funny thing is, cravings are rarely about the actual food. And honestly, sometimes the food is like the least interesting part of the entire equation. So today I want to talk about what your cravings are really telling you. And I know the hot thing to say right now is just eat protein and avoid chocolate or whatever it is you're craving or whatever you love to eat, right? And then that's been dieter's mentality for a long time. But I want to talk about the deeper layers that no one is really discussing. It's the emotional layers. It's how your nervous system and identity plays into all this. It's all that subconscious conditioning layer on layer on layer. Because once you understand cravings differently, you stop feeling at war with yourself. You stop feeling like this food has ultimate control over you. Have you ever noticed that certain cravings feel almost ritualistic? Like it's not even about the taste anymore. It's about, I need to eat popcorn because I'm about to watch TV or a movie, or I need a drink after dealing with my kids. I need something after work until I get home and start making dinner. I need something at night so I'm not hungry in the middle of the night and wake up and feel hungry. I need a little something when I finally get 5 minutes alone. This is not random, it's pattern association. Your brain is constantly linking experiences together with food. Hello, US of A. Every national holiday, everything is related to food. Taco Tuesday, right? Relief plus chips, comfort plus wine, safety plus sugar, pause plus snacks, reward plus food. And over time, the craving itself becomes less about the food and more about the emotional state your brain believes the food provides. This is why someone can eat dinner, be physically full, and still feel a craving screaming inside of them. Because the craving isn't coming from your stomach, it's coming from your nervous system, it's coming from your primitive brain. I know for me, a lot of times I want something sweet after my dinner. I could be full, perfectly content physically, and still want something sweet. And I think this is pretty common, especially for people that grew up in our age. And I think that where dieters' mentality has done a massive disservice to women is because we're taught to interpret these cravings as proof that we lack some sort of genetic discipline gene, like you can't handle this. But what if your cravings are actually data? What if your cravings are one of the clearest windows into your unmet emotional needs? Not always, but often. And before you roll your eyes and think, oh, great, now every craving means I need to dive into my childhood and my inner critic, my inner child, my woundedness. No, that's not what I mean. I think sometimes the wellness and weight loss industry, I know they complicate everything so much. And sometimes cravings simply reveal disconnection. Maybe you're disconnected from your body. Maybe you need some physical or mental rest. Maybe you really want some pleasure in your life. Maybe you keep pushing aside that nudge from yourself that you're looking for more out of this life that you're currently living. And when you live in chronic self-abandonment, cravings get louder. Because cravings are often a way you can quickly change your state. So if you don't want to feel a certain way, a craving suddenly appears, right? It can hit. And then when you eat that food, it changes your emotional state very quickly. Remember, your primitive brain, the subconscious brain, is constantly seeking pleasure. It is not thinking long term, it is thinking in that moment. Your brain is freaking the F out. It's like, let's get out of this emotion. It does not feel good. Cake is most certainly the answer to my problem right now. Remember, when it tastes so good the last time, your brain will remind you of the last time you had cake. And it'll be like this amazing idea. Food changes chemistry very quickly. It also allows you to change the sensation that you are feeling very quickly. It changes your focus also. That's why cravings that's not even a word, can feel super urgent because your brain likes efficient solutions. But where it gets really interesting is most women think cravings are trying to sabotage them. And I actually think that many cravings are trying to protect you. Stay with me here. If you spend all day overgiving, overperforming, people pleasing, suppressing your emotions, and being on for everyone else but yourself, then at night you want some sugar. You want a reward. You want some release. So maybe sugar isn't the enemy. Maybe the craving is the nervous system finally screaming, can we please have some comfort now? The problem is not the craving. The problem is that you only know one language for comfort, and it's food. And there's no judgment. I grew up this way. I mean, I think most people our age, if you're over 40, grew up in this manner. Got a problem? Here's some food. It'll take away that problem. So when you look at it that way, it changes how we approach this completely because now we stop asking, how do I stop cravings? And when then we start asking ourselves, why does this feel necessary to me? Why do I feel like I need to eat cream-filled powdered donuts right now? The question creates awareness instead of shame. I also think cravings expose identity conflict. And this one's really huge. You can consciously want to lose weight while subconsciously fearing what comes with that change. When you're leaner, you may get unwanted attention. You're going to be way more visible in your brain. You might feel like you're being judged. You might feel like failure or success. You're going to feel this pressure to look a certain way and maintain it. You're going to have an expectation now of this leaner version of you. And sometimes cravings become a way to stay emotionally familiar because we humans are addicted to familiarity far more than what we truly want in happiness. And I'll say that again and really listen to this. We are addicted to familiarity, something that is familiar to us, far more than happiness, aka what you say you want, the lean body, the new career, whatever it is. So if chaos feels familiar, you may unconsciously recreate it. If emotional eating feels familiar, your brain may pull you towards it during times of uncertainty. If struggle feels familiar, peace can actually feel uncomfortable. That's why women sometimes sabotage themselves right when things start working. Not because you don't want the results, self-sabotage. It's because your nervous system doesn't quite feel safe inside the identity of the woman that gets the results that she wants. That's way deeper than counting calories. And honestly, some cravings are grief. Some women are craving old versions of themselves. The girl who felt carefree, the woman she was before her heart broke, the version of her before she had kids. How about who you were before you got divorced or before you burned out because of your job, before your responsibilities as a quote unquote adult multiplied? Certain foods hold memories, right? Birthday cake, movie popcorn, grandma's secret chocolate chip cookie recipe, Friday night takeouts, ice cream after a breakup. Food is a symbolism for emotions a lot of times. So when women crave something intensely, sometimes they are not craving the food itself, they're craving a feeling attached to the memory. It could be safety. It could be feeling free. I know for me, happiness, like the moment I would overeat was because I was so happy. I was maybe with some relief too, like when the kids were out of the house and the now ex, the husband was out of the house. You know, there was this moment of like, oh, it's just me and I can do whatever the hell I want. Maybe it's belonging and feeling like you belong in the group that you're with, being taken care of, being loved, feeling alive. Sometimes food lights people up, right? That's why simply removing the food that you are craving, it rarely solves the deeper issue because the emotional association with it still exists. This is why I'm on my soapbox constantly saying it is not the food and the exercise that you need to work on first. It is the mindset. This is the mission of my entire process. Like, we got to get your brain on board. And I think this is where women need to stop trying to become hyper controlled robots around food. Again, I was there, I get it. Because being micromanaged and hyper controlled disconnects you from yourself. It disconnects you from your own self-trust. You become obsessed with suppressing signals instead of trying to understand them. And eventually, suppression rebounds. Always. It is like a boomerang. The more you resist that craving, it will swing back and knock you in the face at some point. That's why women, you can be good all day, all week. If you're good all day, then all of a sudden at night you feel out of control. If you're good all week, then the weekends are like I won't say what I want to say. I want to say a cluster, you know what? That's not lack of willpower. That's physiological and emotional backlash. Your nervous system eventually will demand compensation for excessive rigidity, which is why sustainable weight loss cannot just be behavioral. It cannot just be the things that you do. It has to become relationable. I don't know if that's a word. It has to become a relationship with your food. It has to become a relationship with yourself, with your stress, with your emotions, with your physical body, with you as a human being, as a person. Because if your internal world is chaos, food will often become the regulation of the chaos. So, what do we do with these cravings? First, stop moralizing them. A craving is not a character flaw. You are not good or bad if you succumb to one or you resist one. Second, get curious before you get reactive. Instead of, I should want this or I deserve this, ask yourself, what emotional state am I in right now? Maybe it's what physical state am I in right now? Are you super tired? Are you physically exhausted? Are you overstimulated? Are you understimulated? Are you feeling lonely? Are you emotionally flat? Are you seeking a reward for surviving the day? Are you seeking some relief for surviving the day? Are you avoiding something? Goodness knows, I know for me, when I get bored or I don't know what to do with myself, food is like, oh, yeah, yeah, definitely we should be eating right now. It's not the answer. Third, I want you to notice patterns instead of isolated moments. Okay, so cravings are usually pretty predictable, and predictable patterns can become interrupted, right? We can interrupt them. Again, not through force, not through micromanaging, but through awareness. And the fourth thing is start creating emotional experiences outside of food. This matters so much. And I gotta be honest, if you live in the US, I think this is super challenging a lot of times because everything is so related to food. Um, but here's the thing, if food is your only source of comfort, pleasure, reward, joy, escapism, then the cravings are, of course, going to stay powerful. They're going to feel urgent. They're going to feel like your body is on fire and you got to put it out. Your brain will protect the thing it believes that keeps you emotionally afloat. Okay. So your brain is going to protect those cravings because it believes that it is saving you from the emotion that you do not want to experience in this moment. So I want to leave you with this. The goal is not to become a woman who never has cravings, who never eats cream-filled powdered donuts or chocolate or whatever your thing is. The goal is to become the woman who understands herself deeply enough that cravings stop controlling her and that you're calm in the situation and get to decide if you want to eat the cream-filled powdered donuts or the chocolate or whatever it is. That's the difference. Doesn't mean no, you can't ever have it again. And it's not, I'm not going to go on another tangent. But self-awareness changes the entire experience. And when you stop seeing cravings as your enemy, You stop seeing yourself as the enemy as well. And that may be the beginning of real healing for you. I hope that you flag this episode because it is so impactful. I want you to listen to this a couple times, share it with a friend who is struggling with cravings too. Take some notes on this because this one has some golden nuggets in it. Really listen to it a couple times. Um, the next episode we're diving into is why you eat without thinking, because most eating patterns are happening long before the food even touches your lips. We're talking about subconscious loops, emotional conditioning, nervous system responses, invisible cues, and identity patterns that are running quietly in the background, that background hum that most women don't even realize are shaping their behavior. And once you start seeing these patterns for yourself, you stop believing you're the problem. I hope that you are loving that I'm not talking about dieter's mentality or food or some stupid diet thing. If you're loving that, please hit the subscribe button if you're feeling motivated. And I would love to hear a review. Write a written review, especially on Apple or Spotify. And I would love to read it and share with a friend. All right. I will see you in the next episode. Take care.